On a slope in Colorado, one can observe the ruins of a giant old tree. During its long and noble life, it got struck by lightning 14 times and survived centuries of storms and avalanches. But one day, an army of tiny beetles, small enough to crush between your thumb and index finger, began to attack the tree. They slowly ate their way through the bark and gradually weakened the inner strength of the tree. Eventually, it caved. This is the perfect analogy for how we as humans resist the forces of life. Just as the tree, we are truly resilient to storms and thunder. When tragedy strikes, we tend to pull together all our strength and miraculously survive. For example, people who lose a limb often recovers to the same baseline of happiness quickly. However, we are very fragile against those tiny beetles, which represent all the worrying we do over insignificant matters. Those small things that get to us accumulate over time and bring an enormous strain on our nervous system. If this goes on for too long, it will eventually break us. In this summary, we will explore how to crush these beetles long before they reach our core and live an awesome life free from most worries. This is Detox Dan presenting my summary of How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Live until nightfall. Think of your life as an hourglass. You have thousands of grains of sand, waiting to pass through the narrow neck in the middle, and thousands have passed through already. These grains represent the past and the future. Nothing you can do will make more than one grain of sand pass at each moment. This is exactly where life happens, and the only sane place to focus all your energy. Our only task is to make sure that each grain passes through the neck slowly and evenly. If we take this advice to heart, worrying about the future will start to make a lot less sense. This is the best way to keep our mental structures intact and productive. The negative consequences of worrying about the future has actually been known for millennia. Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, "Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself." He also teaches us to pray for our daily bread. No matter if you're religious or not, each day you wake up is a new chance to live. Do your best with the next 24 hours, nothing more. This does not mean that you have to ignore things like planning, but the best preparation for tomorrow is always living properly and working hard today. Anyone can carry his burden, however hard, until nightfall. Strategies to eliminate worrying. Here is something actionable and concrete you can do when you're worrying about something. Write down your answer to the following 2 questions. 1. What am I worrying about? 2. What can I do about it? Writing down the answers alone will help you clarify your thinking. Much of worrying occurs because we are in a brain fog and haven't pinned down the exact problem. Also, making an actionable plan and executing on it will conquer the worrying. It is very hard to worry and being intensely occupied with something at the same time. I decided to give this exercise a try. For the last 3.5 years, I have suffered from and got diagnosed with long COVID, and this book made me feel like it is very likely my worrying is keeping the disease alive. I wrote the following. 1. What am I worrying about? That I will never experience normal health again and maybe even die young. 2. What can I do about it? Help as many as possible on my way out. Pray for bread each day and live until nightfall. Carry out all my adventures before it's too late. Meditate to stay present. Consume information about health and see if there is something interesting to implement. Laugh and love as much as I can and enjoy my time with Han and family. I immediately felt much lighter and booked a sick trip to Bulgaria. I also felt deeply motivated to work on this channel again, which seems to put me in a very relaxed yet focused state. Surrender to God or the universe. Of course, the sovereign cure for worry is religious faith. William James. I'm not trying to preach here or anything. I'm not even religious myself, but I'll show you that surrendering to something larger is a very good cure for worrying. When we are in a self-centered state of mind, thinking the world revolves around us, worrying comes quite naturally. If something goes wrong, it actually is the end of the world, at least for our ego. But when we surrender to something larger though, and let the universe have our back, we realize that the small things just don't matter that much. The author uses the argument that we are surrounded by all types of mysteries in life, like how our bodies actually function. That doesn't hinder us from enjoying these mysteries. The same goes for religion and prayer. If you pray for your daily bread every morning, you will notice that it helps you to stay focused on the next 24 hours. You don't need to know how or why it works to reap the benefits of less worrying. Try it out for a month and see what happens to yourself. The author himself interviewed Henry Ford after his long and action-filled career. Yes, this book is pretty old. He had expected a worn-out old man, but to the author's surprise, he was calm and peaceful looking. Ford said, "I believe God is managing affairs and that He doesn't need any advice from me. With God in charge, I believe that everything will work out for the best in the end. So what is there to worry about?" That was it for my summary of How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. If you liked this video, make sure to check out my summary of The Body Keeps the Score, and I'll see you next time.